I was either going to go swimming or go walk on the treadmill. And my bathing suit in hand, and somehow I decided treadmill, the best decision in my life.
Well, of course.
Because I probably would be
Would
dead
have been the
now.
last decision of your life.
Literally.
Yeah.
The best decision. So I put the treadmill on a little incline. I'm walking. My mom was going to come join me in a bit. She was in her home office, which was, I don't know, less than a minute walk away, really close by. I'm walking on the treadmill and I start feeling like a spin. And I have vasovago, just to put that out there. I fainted a bunch. It was different. There was something weird. And something in me made me, I was pushed through everything. So it's a little bit of the beginning of my spiritual journey, because something in me made me get up and call my mom. I can't explain what it was. So I get up, put my feet on either side of the treadmill. I don't think I even turned it off. Get up, go to the intercom, and I say, hey, I'm feeling a little dizzy. And then while I was talking to her, I started stuttering. Very weird for me. Not my normal thing. And I couldn't really, I was like, there's something, I don't know, this is weird. And she's like, I'm going to hang up and call your doctor. And I had brought my laptop down to play music because I couldn't figure out the speakers. When we hung up the phone, the music went from a normal volume to a like piercing your ears, like hurting your whole body volume. And I went to turn it off and I could not work my hand. I literally couldn't make it turn off because my hand was not working, which was really weird. So I shut the screen because it turned off immediately when I did that. And I thought, okay, something's wrong. I might faint, since I had been a fainter, since I had vasovago. What's wild is I'm very good in high stress situations. I thought, okay, if I'm going to faint, I got to get to the floor. I don't want to give myself a concussion here.
Mm-hmm.
So I start getting towards the floor, and then something was really wrong. And I thought, I got to get out of here. I need to get to a hospital. So I started army crawling towards the door.
Mm.
And when I got almost to the outside door, my mom's assistant bursts in. This woman is like 6 feet tall. Like, she's a big this way.
Whisper it, she won't hear it.
Yeah. And she comes in, which is very overwhelming energy for someone trying to calm themselves on the floor.
Right.
I don't know how else to describe this, but she had fear eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Like eyes that told you everything was wrong when she saw me. And I couldn't really get words out to her very well, but I was like, get my mom. And she's nodding. And I was like, thank God, because she almost fell on me. I mean, it was terrifying. I was like, it's way calmer without her in here. And I thought, okay, I'm having a mental breakdown because I can't get words out.
Right.
I didn't even know what a stroke was. I'm in my 20s.
Right.
So I start doing yoga breathing because I had learned a lot of like breathing stuff and meditation breathing. So I was breathing like deep in your throat, getting a lot of oxygen, and just a couple yoga breaths. And then my mom came in finally. That was great. It was a comfort to see her. And I couldn't say things to her.
Right.
She would ask me a question. The last two things I said to her, sadly, were, I'm sorry, and I'm usually good at this, which is I'm usually good in high stress situations. Right. I didn't know why I couldn't calm my brain. I was having a stroke, but
right.
I didn't know that. So I was taking these breaths and trying to talk to her. She was calm. She was sitting there trying to talk to me, trying to figure it out. She was calm as a kid. I mean, this woman's unbelievable. Really, what was going on in my head, I gotta say, was tell her to call an ambulance. I really need to tell her to call an ambulance. Call an ambulance. Breathe in, breathe out. Now say it. And I was saying, as bad.
Right.
And that is a living nightmare.
Yeah. My mom had that. I talked to her when she had it.
Yeah.
At the exact moment. So.
Yeah. It's a nightmare to need to call an ambulance and not be able to say call an ambulance or this is how I'm feeling or anything. By the time they got there, I couldn't say my name. So it was like, and I was fat. I was like 5 minutes or something. I mean, maybe it was longer, but I couldn't say my name. That's wild. And I'm on the floor. It was just insanity because I kept trying to make it better and it was getting worse and worse and worse. So my mom had called an ambulance, by the way. She hadn't said it because what she did, apparently, I just didn't know. She went to call my doctor and then thought, why am I calling her doctor in LA? I'm going to call an ambulance. Smart. But I didn't know that. So, what was really scary, because I was still trying to keep my cool and my mom was so chill. She's just being there, holding on to me, just keeping me calm. And this police, it was a first responder. I talked a lot about this at forums and I did a PSA. And so I think they're, at least where I was, they've educated the police force. But the first responder didn't really understand stroke victims or what that might look like. So he walked in, he saw me on the floor and he said, "Are you okay? What's your name?" And I said, and his eyes like glossed over. It's almost like when you think you're talking to a person and it's a dog maybe. Mm-hmm. And he just glossed over like, oh, I can't get anything from that being. Mm. And looked at my mom and said, "Has she ever been able to speak?"
The hell?
And my mom took a second. Honestly, I get it.
Right.
She was probably like, what?
Right.
But for me, I was like, oh, I'm fucked. In my brain, all of my thoughts were me. I was not different. None of my thoughts were difficult to think. I was quick and funny in my brain, which was so weird in this moment. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm fucked. I'm doomed. I don't know what to do now. That's what's happening in my brain. On the outside, I'm garbledy-gook. And my mom was like, eventually she's like, yeah, yes, 5 minutes ago. Like, what? Yeah. But it just scared the shit out of me. And I think until that point, I had been able to keep some of it at bay and keep calm because, frankly, I helped save my own life by doing the yoga breathing and staying calm because it was slowing my blood that was accumulating here because I had a blood clot in my brain. Anyway, the ambulance came. I get in the ambulance, and there were 2 ENTs. One was solid, understood things, calm, got it. The other guy was obviously new, young, terrified, freaked out by everything, couldn't understand why this young girl couldn't speak. So I grabbed the hand of the ENT that I trusted because he was making eye contact. I was like, at this point, I learned that if I spoke, people wouldn't take me seriously, but I was still thinking clearly. So I was reminding myself by just clamping, biting my lips together. Do not speak. Do not speak. So this guy was brilliant. He connected with me. And he said, nod or shake your head if you can understand me. It's okay if you want to speak. It's okay if you say it wrong. Like, he just got it. I think he had dealt with other stroke victims. And I made him come with me. I held his hand and getting out of the ambulance. And when they tried to say, like, you have to leave him, I was like, no way, Dan. I'm not leaving this man. He's making me sane. And I got to meet him later and give him a hug. Oh. I mean, that was like, it's still so intense for me. He got me through like the hardest, he and my mom really. And what I realized is when I connected visually, when I connected eye to eye with someone, I was able to think and be present. And when I didn't, I would lose time. Mm. So my brain would start disappearing a little bit. So I needed that human connection really badly. And my mom started understanding that. So she was following me around and I was like, nice. Okay. It was amazing. My consciousness stayed when I could focus on someone.
If she asked you a question, were you able to nod incorrectly?
For a fair amount of time I was, yeah. Okay. But then the movement was a little more difficult. So, and they can't treat you until they know exactly what it is.
Right. Did you have the physical impairment or just the aphasia?
I had the physical impairment, but it all came back.